I couldn't in good conscience make a video and not speak to you guys directly about what I felt and how I am feeling, because I know there's plenty of people out here who are feeling just tired, exhausted, like they're just speaking into the wind. And to have the government so overtly show themselves, because this has always been what this government does, but to have it be so out in the open is very hard, is very jarring, is very troubling, because so many of us are already dealing with coronavirus, COVID-19. The Black and brown communities, indigenous communities are already the hardest hit. We are already largely unsupported. And yet here we are, again, having to fight this battle. As someone who in their adult life has really tried, and sometimes failed, but has always tried to discuss and bridge pop culture and intersectional politics, I really wanted to take this moment to just very bluntly, honestly, maybe slightly inarticulate, because I didn't script any of this. I am just coming off the cuff. This is a moment where I really want fandom to understand that how they treat Black people and other communities of color, but I'm gonna focus on the Black community because that is my community and that's the place I can speak most earnestly from and for. The way y'all have treated us in fandom is connected to this. It's very easy to dismiss fandom's racism, fandom's misogynoir, fandom's failings to address racism from the top down, because the writers also don't help. The cast sometimes don't be helping. All of that creates a space where you have Black people, very often Black women, having to have 2-3 jobs. And on top of that, of the harassment and the treatment of these artists, these actresses, actors, those of us in fandom have to now watch women who look like us, women who represent us, women who are trailblazing in what they do, be called monkey, be called ugly, be belittled, and have our opinions and our discourse on these topics be ignored, be vilified, be seen as inherently biased because we're Black, to be seen as disruptive, to be seen as picking a fight, to be seen as unfair. And none of this has anything to do with the actual heart of the criticism. None of it has to actually do with the nuances of how certain narratives picked. It's all about the fact that we are loud and open about how fandom is disruptive to our mental health. Because it does something to you psychologically to see Black women and Black folk be treated so like trash, to be treated like trash. The very fact Candace Patton, Kat Graham, Angel Colby, Amber Riley, Nicole Bahari, Anna Jope, so many women, Ashley from Riverdale, the fact that so many Black women have had to deal with so much harassment from these communities mistreating them is tied to what we're seeing, because it's about the way that Black people are dehumanized, the way that we are not treated with any sort of care, the way that our feelings are disregarded, the way we are allowed to be just avatars of your hate and your anger and your disruption, not because you actually fundamentally disagree with what we're saying, because you see us, you hear our tone, and you don't actually care about the content of what we're saying. You assume that we are already an unreliable narrator. We are unreliable narrators of our experience in fandom. We're unreliable narrators when we critique something because we must have an agenda because we're this and this and this. We are automatically assumed to be volatile. And the thing that people don't even understand is that Fandom is the way that you see where your value lies sometimes. Because look at the Hunger Games. Remember with Rue? Remember that? Way back in, what was that, 2012? When the first Hunger Game movie came out? When Amandla was cast as Rue and everyone realized that she was black, and there was this entire uproar of people saying that they no longer felt sympathy for the death of that character because they were black. And we were being told, and we were kind of telling ourselves, you know, that's fringe. That's just a small group of people. No one really thinks that. But then you see Tamir Rice get shot in the street and you think they're unrelated, but they're not. Because in both instances, they are telling you the same thing. That black children are not seen as sympathetic to the media, to people at large, especially people who already inherently think that black children are wild. And we cannot separate these people. They're not fringe. And we need to stop telling ourselves that. It is not fringe. The amount of people that have harassed John Boyega for years, and then will get mad when he says that he hates fucking white racist people, and say that he's being terrible to his young fans, and call him all kinds of names as if he hasn't been called all of this stuff for the past, what, 4 or 5 years? Just because he's in Star Wars? And all this is happening not because of writing, not because of quality. It's happening because you have already decided that black bodies being in the media that you consume is inappropriate. That black bodies being in media that you like is an agenda. You've already decided that we don't belong in your science fiction. You've already decided we don't belong in your comic books and your fantasy. And when we fight back about that, when the powers that be are like, you know what, other people of different races and ethnicities want to be in this stuff too, they like it too, let's just do it. It always has to be a problem. It always has to be a fight. It always has to be a debate. You will have some of the most talented actors and actresses taking these roles, yet complaints. For what? But if we call you racist, you will call the one instance that is flipped and say that we're hypocrites because why weren't we mad about that? How many times have people come up here and had to give this? How many times have I had to come up here and explain that this is not hypocrisy, that these are two different things, that these are false equivalencies? How many times have people had to say it? But I bet you if a white mouth told you that, if one of your actual faves told you that, you would listen to them. But I am inherently seen as an agitator. I'm not an agitator. I'm just trying to exist. I do these videos. I started doing YouTube when I was 16 because I just wanted to talk to other nerdy people online about how much we hated Twilight, you know, and I have grown since then. I've evolved. Yes, I will always make mistakes. I'm a person, but trust me, I punch myself more than anyone else could. I shade myself more than anyone else could about my pronunciation, about gaffes that I make, about how I didn't cut out any of my ums and when I speak all the time. Like, I do this because when I get comments from people saying that my perspective helped them see something, that's all I've ever wanted. I have set myself up in many ways to be an educator because I definitely do know that a lot of the time people are out there just wanting to cause beef. They just want someone to understand the joke. And I most of the time have that energy. And I take it on because I don't want other people who don't have that energy to have to take it on, because I can take it. I'm making myself a public figure. But please do not get it twisted that I'm a person too. And it is exhausting when I see some of y'all say these things, not because I already internalized everything, but because I know that it has something to do with what I actually say, that you're not really listening. You just want to fight. And I'm so sick of the way that black thought, black anger, black revolt is seen as inherently uninformed, as if we don't know what the fuck we're talking about, as if we have not lived in this state of terror. I'm not even gonna say his name, but this one actor said something about how do we in the black community stop being hunted. Animals that are prey animals that have been throughout society hunted evolved to a place where their entire system reacts in a way to prevent them from dying. You understand me? To the point where even like a domesticated rabbit, if you hold them certain ways or you pick them up certain ways, they inherently have that fight or flight instinct in them from being raised as prey. They have anxiety. They have high levels of stress because they come from prey. Black people in this country, in other countries, have been harassed, have been marginalized, have been controlled. Even in countries that you think are, majority black countries, look at who's running them. We have been in a state of constant reminder that our lives are not worth the same to other people, that we will not be believed, that we will be inherently seen as predators. So people feel it's fine to prey upon us. And when you look at the hypertension, you look at the stress, you look at all of those things, that doesn't come from nowhere. That is because of the environment that teaches us that we have to always be on guard. And when you're a black woman or a black queer person, or just any kind of black femme presenting folk or queer presenting folk, you are triply on alert because you know that they are going to come after you. And that's why I have to say to the white allies that want to be allies, the way you can best be allies is to believe us when we say that this shit happens. And I will tell you, white gay people, yes, you guys are marginalized, but do y'all step on us at the same time? Yes. Because I'm so sick and tired of white gay representation between two male characters being seen as more important than how you treat women of color. It don't have to be like this. And if you knew how to structure an argument, you would find a way to blame the right people for the reason why your ships don't happen and not put that on women and women of color. You guys know Superman is my favorite superhero because he symbolizes hope. And I love Usagi from Sailor Moon because she symbolizes hope too. And so there is a part of me that will always be an inherently hopeful person. But that's fucking exhausting because I know that I have no inherent solidarity. Solidarity is a myth. What I believe in is helping people who are marginalized regardless of how an individual has treated me. I believe everyone has the right to exist and thrive and be treated well. And I stand in solidarity with people and with marginalized peoples across the world. Because I do it because that's the right thing to do. But I know that I can't always expect them to be my allies. I don't expect white queer people to be my allies. I don't. Because I don't see them be allies to other people. I will watch y'all make 17 million virtue singling videos about one white queer person. Will any of you guys take this energy and just support someone who's not white on this damn platform? No. The clout chasing is apparent. I spent from like the Vampire Diaries when it first started. The Vampire Diaries is like, that shit is a part of my life forever. But from 2009 on, I really learned how much y'all hate black women. Like for truth, for doing nothing, for existing, it doesn't matter if we're con, doesn't matter if we're bad, for existing, we are the enemy. And there needs to be accountability for that. You guys need to be aware of how you treat us. You need to be aware of how you pick your favorites. You need to be aware of how you treat certain codified people versus others. And I've always said this. It is fine to dislike and even hate any character. But you need to think about how you communicate that hate. You need to think about how you position that hate in comparison to other things. Because that doesn't come from nowhere. We all have to unlearn this behavior. Me too. I'm not innocent in that. I have definitely had to learn how my internalized misogyny makes me view certain female characters. Absolutely. But you have to do the work. Fandom has been one of the worst places to exist as a black person. And the reason why we're even in it is because there's so many of us who come together, who are positive. There are ways to block out the hatred. But when it does come through, it is a reminder, a clear and constant reminder that y'all don't think we belong there. And if you can't think that we have a place, that our thoughts, that our feelings, that our experiences don't have a place in a fictional world, in a discussion about a fictional ass world, why do I trust you to believe me when I talk about my real experiences? Because you dismiss me regardless. I'm excited to work on the things that I'm working on, but before I'm a creator, before I'm anything, I'm a Black human being. And to my other Black human beings who are out here doing their best, to the true allies, thank you for your effort. But like, believe us when we say that this is hard. Believe us when we say that we are dying. Believe us when we tell you that these government institutions do not give a shit about us. Believe us when we say that. Believe us when we tell you that what you do to us in fandom hurts us in real life. Because I don't care how you feel about Iris West Allen, the character. Why has Candace Patton been harassed endlessly for 6 years? What does that do? And it's not one person, it's not, and even if it was just one person, that's inexcusable. Do you think because it's not every single person on earth, because it's not every single member of the family, it doesn't matter? When you're being called the N-word, when you're being called names, when you're being called a monkey, it does not matter if one person does it, 50 people do it, or 10,000 people do it. Because hearing monkey over and over again, even if it's by 10 people for 6 years, is hate. It is poison. It will destroy your spirit. If you're an ally, be an ally. And if you're not, get the fuck out of the way. Simple as that. Doesn't have to be any deeper than that. Just get out of the way. I hope that you're all taking care of yourself. Productivity is already to the devil. But I keep working because I enjoy the work that I do and I'm proud of it. But to quote John Boyega, I just had to come out here and say, fuck racist white people, fuck racist white governments, and good thing I don't care about views and I don't care if this gets demonetized. Fuck it. Because you have actively destroyed lives. And that matters from the top down. And I don't care if you're a troll. I don't care who you are. When you treat Black people as if their lives don't matter in any capacity, you are participating in the violence that we're seeing out there. And you may not think that. And that's the thing that I bring this up in the video that I'm working on. So many of y'all think that you are on the side of freedom. So many of y'all, if you were to cast a movie, if you were to go be in Star Wars right now, you're like, I'm in the resistance. I'm trying to stand up for people. And it's like, no, you are already in the First Order. You already in the Capitol. Okay, you don't want to be in District 12 doing coal, and you don't want to be there. You already, and even if that is based on your reality, you don't think of yourself as that. You ready to align yourself with the Capitol. Because that's what you want. You aspire to that. And you're trying to always move past that. So you're fine rebelling, as long as the rebellion leads you to there. And we see you for that. We see you.